Hey, everybody, and welcome to We Watch TV. It is the podcast about the TV that we watch. I'm Daniel. She is Hope. This is episode 117, coming to you from the most pro Little Caesars podcast in the universe.
We are not sponsored by Little Caesars.
We are not sponsored by Little Caesars, but I would take that sponsorship in a heartbeat. Imagine it's got to just, if it's, they don't even need to pay me money. Just give me free pizzas.
Free mid-tier, but always consistent pizzas.
Correct. That's
we
correct.
actually ran a poll. If you guys didn't listen to last week's episode, Daniel went from talking about the NFL somehow to ranting about pizza, and this is just out of the chain pizza places. He thinks that Little Caesars is the best of all time. You did not win the poll, by the way, which not a lot of people voted in the Instagram poll, gonna say. Papa John's actually won.
Listen, I respect that.
Papa John's tastes better.
Papa John's, on its A game, is better than Little Caesars.
But you don't know if you're always going to get the A game.
The last time I walked into our Papa John's, they were like 20 minutes late. Everybody was covered in flour.
You didn't tell me that.
And like it's just like they did. That was like that scene from Community where he walks in and everything's on fire, and it was just like, what is going on here?
At least it was cut properly and it was cooked. Because we have had situations before where it has been undercooked. Yeah.
And don't get me started on Domino's and Pizza Hut.
Domino's
Those are trash.
did get a vote. They did get a vote.
Those are trash.
I think one of the reasons why you don't like Domino's, it was the only place that delivered to your house.
Sure.
And you guys used to all like get in. There was tears involved about who had to call. And I would be like, I am so hungry. I'll call. I will call them.
I have backup, by the way, on this. We did get a little bit of fan mail.
Yes.
If you want to write us and get on the podcast with your commentary, there's a link in the episode description. All you have to do is click it on your mobile device, and it will just allow you to send us a text, and then we will read it on the next episode.
Share your pizza hot takes.
But my sister rang in with Little Caesars Gang Unite and 2 slices of pizza. So I've got the support from
I am not
the rest
disagreeing
of the
with
clan.
you. I think that Little Caesars, except for the time they didn't cut my pizza at all. They've done that before. But it's usually, at least it tastes the same, very mid-tier, you know.
I got a pizza cutter at home.
I guess. It's still, I feel like I pay them the $5 to cut it for me. But I'm not disagreeing with you. I just don't think it's probably as good as what you do. But sometimes the Italian cheese bread just absolutely slaps.
How about those little pepperoni cups?
Okay, those were pretty good. I don't know how you could eat more than one without feeling vomity.
I ate 8 once.
And then you'll be like, the next morning, Daniel, I'll be like, where did you throw the pizza away yet? I ate it. And we like, who won't put it in the fridge? He eats it just room temp. Like, there's a lot of people that like cold pizza and go on and on about it. You're like, I'll take mine room temp. And then it'll be like the night before, and he'll be like, man, that pizza made me sick and kept me up all night. And I'll be like, oh, cool. What'd you have for breakfast? I had a slice of pizza. You're anything but consistent, right?
Anyways, the other fan mail, we got 2, both from my sister, by the way. So just to round this out, this is non-pizza related. This is my transition back to television.
I see.
We had mentioned a couple episodes ago about watching cartoons. I think you had just gotten done watching K-pop Demon Hunters.
We're going up, na 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 na. Now I'm like in a cult.
Yeah.
Thanks for that. The K-pop Demon Hunters
and
cult.
I was berating you about thinking cartoons were only for children, and I named off a bunch of shows, and one of them was
they're not all for
King of the Hill. And Hannah rung in and said, "Hope, you will love King of the Hill. We are rewatching it now, and it's amazing."
Well,
and I agree.
Will
and
take that into consideration.
And it is a timely thing too, because they actually just released a new season after like I think 15 years off.
I think some episodes a long time ago.
It's a good show.
Okay, I'll take it. I'll take it into consideration.
Have I led you wrong recently in show recommendations? I think I've been knocking them out of the park.
You haven't. You'll like recommend stuff that you heard about that you don't even watch with me.
Yeah, exactly.
Like K-pop Demon Hunters movie, Hunting Wives, which by the way, Netflix Hunting Wives is officially on for season 2. They made the announcement on social media in perfect fashion. They even kind of made fun of, like, remember how I complained about the one girl's wig being awful? They made fun of that. And then the two leads presented at the Emmys last night.
So I'm just saying that, like, I feel like I have, like, an eye for what you want, for things you're going to like.
I guess
And I've been leading you the correct way, including a show we're going to talk about later this episode for a while now. So I think if I say you're going to like King of the Hill, you're going to like King of the Hill.
All right.
But anyways, go ahead, scream at the top of your lungs, whatever it is you're going to say about college football.
And we're back on, baby. We can talk about college football again. Let's just say a great game took place over the weekend. The Backyard Brawl, one of the best rivalries in college football. And what a time it was. What a time. And WVU was victorious. They beat the Pitt Panthers, ESP. If you know, you know. Sorry to all my Pennsylvania listeners. Although I think a lot of you guys are more Penn State fans. But WVU won, and we don't, sadly, the rivalry game, since we used to be in the same conference, really it's better when I'm filled up with Thanksgiving food, and I have, it makes that hate in my heart better after I've spent the whole day being thankful. That's when this game should be played. But since we're no longer in the same conference, they brought it back. We played in September for a few years. If we didn't have such a bum coach before, we would have owned that series 4-0. Fight me. It's true. But we won't be seeing them again until 2029. So they get to sit on that L. And I'm excited about it. I said, if we don't win any other game this season, that's the only game I want to win. And
not like 24 hours after that win was over, you were looking at the schedule and you were like, we're going to beat Kansas, right?
I didn't say that. I said, do you think we can beat Kansas? It was looking grim before we were going into this game. And I was like, the one thing that I thought that would give us a chance was this. It had to have been personal for Rich Rod, because that's the last game he coached. We all know. Although I have to say, I'm at peace with 13-9 now. It reminds me of, remember, I'm on the other side of it. Remember when WVU was so good, national stakes were on the line? So, we knew he had to win. There was just a lot going on. We've been so starved for wins. And he just took us on it was just dramatic. Rich Rod roller coaster of emotions. At one point, I was so upset because I've been so accustomed the past 6 years to when we go down that we're not going to win, that I took my glasses off and slammed my phone down. And I straight up pouted.
Yes, you did.
And then WVU was like, there's no quit in us. There were some decisions, but again, that's why I'm not the coach. I don't know. And it worked out. Game went into overtime. WVU wins. It was a great time had by all. Now, I have been asked by some of you and I'm never going to let him do it because no one's ready for that, to record me watching games. Now, I'll give you the next best thing, though. I'm not going to read you all my tweets, but I did screenshot a couple tweets.
Well, by the way, before she gets into these, I just want to make a note that whatever she tweeted, she was screaming 1,000 times worse stuff at the house.
You were screaming, too. You were very into it. We were stressing Marvin out.
Listen,
he's like, what is wrong with you?
I don't want to go too far down the rabbit hole here, but I'm sorry. If you objectively watch that game, the Pitt players were going down and with injuries, quote unquote, in a manner that was very much. They were just trying to slow things down for WVU. I'm sorry. I'm sorry if you're a Pitt fan and you disagree with me, whatever. But if that was not your team, if that was against your team and it was happening the way we were watching it, you would be saying the exact same thing. It just sucks. It sucks for the game. And I know they've changed the rules to try and prevent it, but they haven't gone far enough. Clearly.
Well, now that we don't have an OG golly shucks, but did you have fun tailgating coach? Rich Rod actually kind of called that out when he was asked about it. He said, "Gee, I hope they're okay.
No.
I hope they're going to be able to play."
All right,
anyway,
read your tweets.
Okay.
Read your tweets.
All right. Here's one of them. WVU is not going to win another game all season. I mean, they might not, but who knows. Then everyone can shut up, including me, parentheses, about putting Scotty Fox in now. That's our true freshman. I think he's going to be all right when we going forward. But they tossed him out there, and I don't know what they were thinking. Threw a pick twice, but you know what? It's okay. Then I have a next one that says, I am honestly mad that Pitt played so terrible the first half because these mofos made me think there was a chance to pull it off. And I have a gift that talks about hope being painful. And then I also said, I will go lay down in the street if we lose by 3. Okay, I have to explain that because now you're going to get me to rant. What on earth was up with that? Okay, so right before the game goes into half, one of the Pitt players gets a personal foul on WVU.
Yeah, late hit.
The ref comes on the field and is like, all right, there was a personal foul against Pitt. And we're like, okay, so are they going to like add time to the clock? What's going on? He's like, but because there's only 1 second left on the clock and WVU has no timeouts, the half is over. And we're all like, excuse me? That's how they interpreted this apparent rule that needs changed. And then I was like, okay, so are we going to get like extra yards to start the half with? Nothing. That is the worst. That might be that. And I also did tweet when I'm fired up when I'm tweeting like the Big 12, but these were ACC officials. But I'm like tweeting the NCAA, like, what's up with this rule? Because, and then I'm like, also, my parents are at a band competition, so I'm giving them game updates. So I'm texting my mom, who's sitting by my dad and telling him my commentary. And my dad's like, tell Hope that they can't end a half on a personal fouling. And I'm like, tell Dad, the heck they can't. Like, and I'm like sitting there, and Daniel's like, tell them to text your brother and he'll explain it. So I'm like trying to explain to them because their dad's like, there's no way they would do that. And we're like, we didn't think so either. What's up with this rule?
This rule was new to me. It was always my understanding that a half or a game could not end on a defensive penalty.
Yes.
Like if the clock is
they
zero,
got a free personal foul.
If the clock, well, not just a personal foul. If the clock is zeros, but the last play, the defense committed a penalty, it was my understanding that there was one more untimed down in the half or the game because it can't end that way.
It was weird.
So I don't know when this rule changed, or maybe I'm thinking about that. Maybe that's the NFL rule.
Or maybe
I don't know.
ACC people just can't read the rule book.
But it seems like if that is truly the way the rule is intended, that needs to be changed because it could be. You don't see people doing it, but what is to stop a team from having defensive players taking cheap shots at guys at the end of quarters
for consequence free?
Yeah.
I like how we're like, we're not going to talk about this very much, and then we rant. But that's what the 3 thing was, because we would have been in field goal range
with the penalty. The penalty yardage would have put you in a far field goal, but a makeable situation. Yeah.
So anybody that because I've seen some people question the call. I mean, anytime I know there's always going to be like crazy calls. I feel like we always get calls against us. You can say all you want about that, but I'm like, y'all got a free personal foul. But I will give credit. Most of the Pitt fans that I am friends with, they have not. It was their coach was complaining about calls, which we got just as many terrible calls, probably if not more. We had to beat the refs. We had to beat the NCAA stupid rule. It was a time. But I will give them credit. I feel like they were like calling out their coach, and they were calling him out for like the players being soft too. I saw that with the whole injury thing. Either you're not hydrated enough, or it is a tactic that just needs to
It's
stop.
The third game of the season.
Yeah.
If those are real legitimate people just cramping up, then the strength and conditioning coach for Pitt needs to be hung out because they're not doing their job.
But it was a great game. I feel like it was very personal to Rich Rodriguez. It was very personal to a lot of us. I have not felt that level, I think, of emotion. Like, I actually cried at the end of the game, and I'm not ashamed of it.
I mean, you cried at multiple points during the game, too.
I know. No, but
for different reasons.
No, I was mad. I didn't cry.
Okay.
I was mad. I pouted. There's a difference. But I was so, it was just, I feel like that's the monkey off the back for him. Like, he knew he had to win that game. He knew he had to win that game, and he did. And it was one of those games that, when your team is victorious, you're like, wow, that was the best game ever. And then we got to ride that high all weekend, and it was just great. It took me back for a second. For a moment, it felt like the old times. I don't know what's going to look like the team going forward, but it was pretty cool. Speaking of football, I do have to shout out my father-in-law. Because your dad actually, we've given him a hard time because he can be he and I are probably very much alike when we watch games, very emotional. But he actually said something really nice over the weekend and it's all I've ever wanted from Ohio State fans. Because the only reason why I get annoyed with Ohio State is sometimes I feel like their fans act so oh, poor us. Everyone's against us. It's just, we can't do anything. And he straight up texted us and was like, one, he gave credit to the other team in Ohio that actually, until the very end, seemed to give Ohio State a pretty good run. And he basically said, with teams like Ohio State and the way college football has changed, it's going to be very hard to beat teams like that, essentially. If you want to explain more about what he said.
No, he's just commenting on the NIL and the money and the way there's basically super teams now who have all the money and they just can buy players.
Yeah.
and there's nothing to stop them from just having all the players. Even that's nothing to stop them from bringing in players. They don't even intend to play on the field just to keep them from other teams because they can just pay them.
It's like a mini NFL almost.
And so he was just commenting that their super
that's all
teams,
I've ever wanted.
It's changed football, and it seems, and he even went as far as to say it's fun to root for some of the teams that aren't that way now because when they
like
do
WVU
well, it really means something versus just a team that's just, oh, well, like, again, with Ohio State, the expectation on Ohio State is be in the national championship game, or that is a failure of a season.
If I am a fan of Ohio State, based on all the money I know that we have to spend, and I'm not in that title game every year, I am going to be one of the crazy people that's like, what's going on with
And this isn't just Ohio State. There are many other teams out there that have this
we
problem.
just happen to live next door to them. That's why we talk about them. But I had to shout it out because I know we've kind of given your dad a hard time. And that's all I've ever wanted to hear from Ohio State people is just to admit, like, we have a leg up.
And he'll never even hear it because he doesn't listen to the podcast. So,
but maybe he will.
So, all right, you have breaking, to move away from football, you have breaking Bachelor Nation news.
I do.
I can't wait to hear it.
Well, we had discussed how, with the way the dud that Bachelor in Paradise was, we're like, this franchise is just, it's going, under. It's not great anymore. It's probably dying. And I was like, they need to do something to shake it up, and they did. So The Secret Lives of Mormon Wives has basically just taken over everything. It's one of, I think it was the top watched, reality TV show. We've got 2 of The Secret Lives of Mormon Wives on Dancing with the Stars, which premieres today, because you guys are listening to this on a Tuesday, premieres this evening. And I had wondered why Taylor Frankie Paul, she's kind of I would consider her the lead. I was like, why isn't she doing Dancing with the Stars? And I'm like, maybe she didn't want to do it. Well, guess what? Bachelor Nation said, you know what? We see you. We hear you. Taylor Frankie Paul is our new Bachelorette. For one, I love that they're like, we're not doing another Bachelor season right now because none of us are interested in that. She is going to bring so much drama, so much mess. It's going to be fantastic. The woman is made for reality TV. And the thing is, how you have some people you can tell they try to be, it's just her personality. She's authentic in every sense of the way. She's unapologetically herself, which helps. She knows she's a hot mess. She owns it. She doesn't remember how I was like, oh, all these contestants on Bachelor in Paradise have such a curated aesthetic image. No, we're gonna get mess. And I think she knows what she's signing up for. I would like it for her to find a nice love story and have that, but the woman's gonna make fantastic TV. I'm excited. My friend, shout out to Trina, and we both texted each other immediately. We're like, we manifested this a year ago. It's gonna be good.
Very good.
And you will have to.
I'm glad you're excited. So. I on occasion will tune in for the first episode of the Bachelor / Bachelorette. I don't know that I will.
She's
do
the one that
every
was
episode.
part of the swinging scandal.
I know we've covered this.
So grab your dirty sodas and get ready, because Secret Lives of Mormon Wives, they're just taking over ABC right now.
Alrighty. Well, we have been watching some television.
Yeah, speaking of Hulu, Disney+.
Speaking of Hulu, first up here, we've got Season 5 of Only Murders in the Building, a favorite of this podcast. We both are very excited to have it. The first 3 episodes.
And this one is always in talks for the best thing going for me. I feel like I could literally just watch the 3 leads, just have a mess around every episode, and I'm going to be fine with it. I think the one season we were critical was where the game was split up a little bit more. Yeah. Which that would have been season 4. 3?
Season 4 was they were split a little bit.
Season 4 was last season.
Yeah.
They were together more last season. You're thinking of season 3.
They're all bleeding together.
Yeah, because season 4 we covered on this podcast. I think we've covered
season 3, yeah.
We've covered 3 and 4. That 3 was the one they were, I think, a little separated. But I think it was a good idea giving us the first 3 episodes, and then it'll be to weekly release. So Charles, Oliver, and Mabel, the gang's all here. We ended the season previously with Oliver's wedding. That's Meryl Streep's character. I'm sure she's going to make an appearance, but she is off in New Zealand on a project. So it kind of picks right up after the wedding. After the wedding, the big sizzler on the previous season was Lester, the doorman of the Arconia, the apartment building where they all live in. He was found in a pool of blood in the fountain. And then we had a woman played by, I think her name's Tia Leone in real life, came up to Charles and was like, hey, can you help investigate like my husband's death? And he was like, well, we only do like murders in this building. So that's kind of where they sizzled us. They picked it up, really hit the ground running right away. They're like, well, we got to figure out what's going with Lester. Like, was he murdered? Was it an accident? Because the one guy with the cat tried to say it was an accident. Lots of shenanigans. And then Charles was like, well, this woman came up to me. It sounded very cryptic. And they figured out that she has like mob ties.
Right.
And that her husband, we do find out in one of the episodes, is in the mob. And they have a dry cleaning business. And
classic mob.
And the dry cleaning business is technically related to the casino, which is located, what is it, under the Arconian?
Yeah, they explained it was room. Like what the carriages where the horses used to be, but then when cars took over, it got converted in the 1920s into a casino. And we find out that guy and Lester was kind of helping that guy out and kind of gotten involved
with the mob early in his career because he needed some money. So once you get in, I think it's like very hard to get out of, like, which every TV show, I don't know personally, but like every TV show, movie I've ever seen that's kind of gone over it. So they're wondering if that's connected. That's kind of our big mystery right now. And that's sort of where we're at.
I would like to, but before we move on to our next TV show, I would like to shout out the second episode of this first three was kind of a flashback telling the story of Lester from when he got the job as a doorman to the end. And I feel like I liked that. And I liked it because it was so early in the season. Very often in a show, you'll get an episode like that, but it'll be like jammed in the back of the season when you're trying to build tension to give all this like backstory. And it breaks the pacing of the show. Putting it here at the beginning, I thought really did a good job of, one, giving us some backstory we needed, but I think it actually built tension because it explained to us what was going on and the stakes that are happening with everybody. So I really liked it being there, and I haven't seen a lot of shows that like the whole episode was a flashback through the years, and it was cool because they got like Saz back. What was the
Tim guy from season 1? Like the first guy, one of the first guys that like died. He was back. I agree with you. I thought that was a great episode. And it really worked well since we did get those first 3 episodes at once. So, because I could see some people be like, oh, a flashback. But I think I would have been fine with it even if we hadn't had another episode to go to. I really liked seeing like them go through the years. Like they had like the Y2K thing. They had clearly like Oliver and Charles looking younger, like young Mabel. So I thought that was really interesting. And like you kind of saw all the residents of, the Arcarnia, like these characters we've gotten to know throughout the seasons of the show. We got to see them through like the lens of the doorman. And I thought that was really nice. And I honestly, obviously he's a big part of the story. They want to figure out what's going on. We have like the mob. Is it mob or mafia? Are they the same thing?
They're both the same thing.
Okay. We have those connections, the connections with the building. So I think that's probably why they did that flashback episode a little earlier, because we need it to know going forward. Yeah, I don't really know. Like at this point, I couldn't tell you where the season was going. Oh, Nathan Lane. He showed up. Nathan Lane.
I was trying to think of. I didn't want to spit out Nathan until I had the name, but that was who I was thinking.
Which was good because he was such a major character. I'm excited.
Yeah, it was a good. It was a good start to the season. Like I said, I don't have any suspects yet. I think that knowing this show, they haven't even really given us any super huge hints yet. So we'll see where it goes. Now, this next one, I want to make a statement right here. We don't do a video podcast. But if we ever did a video podcast, I would demand that Hope and I do an opening credits.
Yes.
In the way of this show. So we are going to talk right now about HBO Max's own Peacemaker season 1, and then we'll get to season 2 here in a minute.
And this is from James Gunn, who is now with DC. A lot of Marvel fans would know him from Guardians of the Galaxy, but he also just recently did Superman, which came out, I believe, in July, this past July. And Peacemaker stars John Cena, and we first meet Peacemaker in the Suicide Squad movies. And yeah, the opening sequences, they're not really related to the show, but oh my gosh, I loved the season. The season 1 opener is still my favorite. It's like a whole dance sequence. It kind of reminds me of like like the Bollywood things they do, but like at the end of those movies. But this is like before the show starts, and we have a whole different song and sequence for season 2, which we'll get into. I know you're like, why are you talking about season 2?
This is one of those shows that I have been badgering Hope to watch for months.
Yeah, but aren't you glad we waited? Because then we didn't have to automatically go right into the
I'm glad that we waited, because that way we had a little bit of season 2 to go to. But it's fun to me because you started the first couple episodes and you're like, I like it, it's fun.
But I don't need to immediately click
We finished it, and this is like on the top of your list right now.
Yeah, I wouldn't say it's my best thing going, but it was something other like that I was super looking forward to. Like we actually I was so excited for Only Murders to come back, but I had to get like in that mindset again. And once we started watching it, we're like, okay, we'll pick up Peacemaker again later. But we were both kind of like itching to keep going with Peacemaker because those last few episodes of season 1 were great. I think a lot of the characters you said did show up in Suicide Squad, which, kid, that's the movie. I haven't seen either Suicide Squad 1 or 2. I don't think you necessarily need to see those. I'm familiar enough to know who Amanda Waller is.
Yeah.
That's Viola Davis's character. And then Peacemaker did show up for a few minutes in the, probably like a few seconds in the Superman movie.
Yeah, he was in the Superman movie for a few seconds.
Which, according to you, his scenes in the Superman movie take place after season 1, but before season 2.
Yes, that's what I've been told by the internet is the chronological order.
This show is great. I think it's really funny. So even if you're not a big superhero person, but if you like comedy, you'll like it. But it's not just, I thought when you first described to me that it was just going to be slapstick, funny the whole time. It's actually quite emotional. Like, it's brought tears to my eyes a couple times. I love the team, the team that has been assembled. My favorite is Vigilante Adrian. He is played by the actor, I think it's Freddie something, I don't remember his last name, but you would know him best as Cormac in McLaggen. Is that his name from Harry Potter? The one that was going after Keeper against Ron. He is the prince in Bridgerton. He was in Pitch Perfect I didn't realize that this guy's like a chameleon, but I've never found him cute until now. And now with his like American accent, I guess, and which normally I go the other way. I like your British accent better, and the darker hair and the glasses and his clearly, on the spectrum personality, but his just genuine smile. I'm like, oh, I love him. He's my favorite. He's my favorite character. We've got Harcourt. That actress is married to James Gunn in real life. I've seen a lot of comments that are like, she's basically going to be the love interest for John Cena's character, Chris Smith, who plays the Peacemaker. And I've seen a lot of people saying like, oh, James Gunn just really wrote a fanfic with his wife and John Cena.
Yeah.
We've got Economist. Dyebeard. Not Ginger Cool, though. Don't call him that. Yeah. It's later.
Adebayo.
She's
Waller's daughter, which we find out.
Yes. And she is, I forget that actress's name, but she was probably best known for Orange is the New Black.
Yeah.
That's where you would have seen her before. She played Tasty in that show. I don't know what some of the other characters were. Well, the villain in season 1, he was or not the villain, I guess. We thought he might be villainous. Yeah. He played the kind of leader of their team in season 1. He was the villain in the third Guardians of the Galaxy movie, so that's where we had seen him previously.
So, and then Eagly. We can't forget Eagly. His eagle sidekick. Pet
eagle. We love Eagly. If anything happens to Eagly, we riot. Who's your favorite character so far?
I really like Economist Dyebeard.
I do like him.
He's funny, and I just vibe with his. I just vibe with him.
You knew I was going to vibe with Vigilante.
Oh yeah, of course, yeah.
Ask me some facts about owls.
So, I'm not going to go too deep into like what the show's about. I agree with I kind of had a little bit more understanding of what the show was going in, but I do agree with you that like I was surprised at how heartfelt it was, considering the kind of ridiculous stuff that's happening and the ridiculous scenarios that they're in and all the things going back and forth. But at the end of the day, it is telling a really human story about people, not just Peacemaker, but everybody's going through their own stuff.
And if you like friendship and team building, like you really like, they feel like a family.
Get down with the 11th Street Kids.
Yes. That was probably the best episode where they referenced that. Once again, if you are familiar with James Gunn's work, the music is top tier. no notes. Such good music.
And how about the last episode of the season when the opening credits song kicks in the actual show?
In the actual scene.
And I'm really hoping that happens again and they repeat that again in season 2 because it just all of a sudden really hyped
I
up.
Bet. It really did. And like we know that we're generally a spoiler podcast. You guys know this. But I don't want to give away too much of this show. I just want to say like go check it out because it's honestly, this is a show where it's hard to explain the plot because I have to explain a lot of like DC backstory, which you'll get when you watch. So
yeah, it's not that it's a complicated plot. It's just for me, the plot is backseat to watching these characters go through the develop and have the journey that they're on, and it's just really well done.
And if you're somebody that you're like, I don't like superhero stuff, Hannah, you would like this. It's just a show. I'll watch King of the Hill if you watch Peacemaker.
There we go.
How about that?
We got it.
Challenge
extended.
Challenge extended.
We await your answer.
Did we ever talk about the quote about Riverdale?
Oh, no, we didn't. We didn't talk about that.
So they're going through one scene in season 1 where he's like, it could be anybody. And he's like, it could be the Khloe Kardashian. It could be such and such. It could be such and such. And then he said something that we're like eating dinner while we're watching this. I nearly choked on my food. I don't want to say it. He said it could be the CUNTs from Riverdale, a show I used to watch that went wildly off the rails. And it was even funnier because one of the guys that plays one of the detectives or cops in Peacemaker was literally Betty's dad, the Black Hood on Riverdale. And I'm like, you have an actor that was on Riverdale. So I thought that was great. Yeah, like honestly, so good. The way this season 1 ended, it always ends up like the classic of maybe the team's going to be broken up, we're going to go our separate ways, but they still had that connection. And do you just want to go ahead and jump right into season 2?
Yeah. All right, I'm going to say it right now. Season 2, because this is the most, okay, if you're coming into Peacemaker, everybody who watches Peacemaker knows this, but if you haven't watched Peacemaker before, then you don't know this. The opening...
Sorry.
Gesundheit. The opening credits are the most important thing about the show.
Yes.
Even though they have absolutely no relevance on the plot of the show.
Well, it shows you like every character is going to show up, isn't it?
Yeah, it even shows you characters you haven't met in the show yet.
Even if you have a teeny tiny role, you're going to be in the credits.
I like the music from season 2 better than season 1, but the dance in season 1 was better.
I think I'm starting to come around to that. Like at first I was like, no, because I'm very set in my ways. I'm like having what happened to me with the White Lotus. I'm like, no, give me the original song and the original dance. But then by about the time we've seen the first 4 episodes, because unfortunately now we're caught up. By about episode 4, I'm really starting to vibe with the song. But I still agree. I like the choreography better from season 1.
And no matter what, when you start the episode, you get that couple of minutes of sizzle before the credits start. And every time the credits start kicking in, it's just a hype. You want to get up. You want to dance with it. It's exciting. It's just something to really look forward to.
And the show drops on Thursday.
I am excited for Thursday because I want to see. I want to see what they're getting into, and I want to hit them credits.
Same. I'm very excited. I cannot wait. And we'll have probably more to say. We'll probably start talking about, I guess, each episode. Maybe. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah. Just real quick about the 4 episodes we've watched. There was a long hiatus between seasons because James Gunn did season 1 after he left Marvel, but before he was officially like in charge of DC. All of DC. And then so all of that stuff has happened in between there, you know, the fallout with Henry Cavill and everything that went down with there and him being put in charge, creating an entire Superman movie.
Henry Cavill had a fallout.
No, not a fallout. Just like just the way that, you know, they had to say, hey, sorry, we can't really, we're not going to use you for Superman anymore and that kind of stuff. And so it's been a long time, but I feel like they really picked up well, and like it feels like the same show with the same characters. And
at the end of season 1, the Justice League shows up and they change it and call it the Justice Gang. And they swapped out because we actually had Aquaman, Jason Momoa, and like the guy who was playing the Flash show up at the end of season 1, and then they scrapped that, and they have the Green Lantern and Hawkgirl, who showed up in Superman. They swapped those out.
And I think that was a kind of a fun little
How many
wink.
years was between it? Like when?
I think it was like 3 years.
Well, I'm glad I only had to wait like a day.
I think it was the way they did it was like a catch up from season 1, and it was a really like just kind of a nice wink of like, hey, we know some stuff has gone down. We're not going to address it other than this right here. And I thought that was a cool way to do it because when I first was hearing about all that before I had watched the show, I knew they were going to be doing like some dimensional travel stuff.
Yeah.
And I thought maybe that's how they were going to explain it, is that he was going to travel to the new DC you or whatever it was. But no, they didn't do that. They were just like, yeah, it's Wink. He's been there the whole time. So I thought that was kind of funny.
Which that's kind of like, I feel like this is like the DC's version almost of the multiverse, maybe. I feel like that's kind of what the...
Yeah, but I also thought it was James Gunn winking, being like,
Yeah.
hey guys, guess what? It's not that serious. Have fun with it.
But like, I'm talking about like the plot of the show right now with the doors. We're exploring what they would be in the multiverse.
Yeah.
So speaking of my wild tweets, I stopped tweeting. My last tweet about the WVU game on Saturday night was, our defense has certainly impressed me. I was proud of their efforts last week too. Keep it up. And then I'm like, Peacemaker is such a good TV show. Just started season 2. Like, and that's just in the middle of like WVU like football game commentary. Do you know that I actually did pick up followers from that though? People must like the crazy. I don't know.
I apparently I did. So
you're like, Adrian, I love spiders. And then she's like, Adrian would love this.
Yeah.
And Peacemaker.
So,
they all feel like a family.
They do. Yeah. Yeah. The only thing I'll say about season 2 so far is that he's traveling between his universe, which is the regular DC universe, and some other DC universe where his dad and his brother are alive.
And
maybe. And all I want to say is, and I've seen a lot of chatter online too, so I think I'm pretty solid on this. Something is weird.
Yes.
Something's going on over there that's not right. And I think that we're going to, the veil is going to be pulled sometime soon.
Yes. Well, we think, his dad is like basically a white supremacist or something. Like that was kind of like his superhero thing. And we've noticed that when they're in the other world, it is only white people.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Maybe it could just be your casual, like, we haven't cast anybody else, but I feel like with James Gunn, it's intentional.
No, because look at the team in the regular universe. Because we're seeing the Argus team in both universes. Look at the team in the regular universe we're used to. Look at the teams that we see in that universe.
Exactly.
Something weird is going on.
Off. Oh, and if you are a longtime listener of this podcast, you know that Don Cheadle is not in Mean Girls. But guess what? What is his name in real life? Tim
Meadows.
Tim Meadows is in Mean Girls, and he's also in Peacemaker season 2, and he's already delivered me so many fantastic liners. Let's see. Go play your Pokemon instead of Pokemon. Ginger Cool. It's a housewarming gift.
It was a meta duck.
It was a meta. I have bird blindness. This is what you guys are missing out. Please go watch this show.
We won't spoil anything else, but yeah, we'll be continuing to talk about that. I think we're halfway through. There were 8 episodes in season 1, so I'm assuming there's 8 episodes in season 2. Really excited. If you've got HBO Max, go watch Peacemaker. Again, I Hope said it earlier. You don't have to be a superhero fan because that's not what the show is about. It's a show about people who happen to also be superheroes.
And speaking of Thursday, because it's going to fulfill the Thursday slot, now that Star Trek Strange New Worlds has wrapped its season 3, let's go right into our summer I Turn Vulcan series, and we will kick it off with Star Trek Strange New Worlds because the finale has come and gone, and now we have the long wait for season 4. What did you think?
And we've talked about this a little bit offline. It was I think, kind of a letdown of a season finale.
Agreed.
I thought there were some good moments to it. Obviously, it wrapped up the Patel storyline as we kind of thought it was going to.
Not the way I thought it was going to.
No, not the way I thought it was going to. I think there were some great moments in it. Certainly, and of course, you were pointing and screaming at the screen at the end when the music started playing for the final montage. But I think that it was interesting that the way they closed this episode really felt like when they did it, they weren't sure if they were getting. Yeah, they weren't sure if they were getting a season 4. So, but there were some great Spock and Kirk moments.
Yes.
And so
Spork.
Overall, a good episode, not a great episode. But I'm looking forward to season 4.
I think I definitely agree with you. I feel like the finale did fall a little flat, but it reminded me of what you said about the finale of Agatha.
Yeah.
Back last fall, that we had that great episode, and then the last episode just felt kind of flat. And I feel like the episode last week with Ortegas and the Gorn, I felt like that was probably one of the best episodes of Strange New Worlds to date, and it was so powerful and impactful that anything I think was going to feel a little flat.
I think
after
that's the
that.
trouble is that they had that's one of the great, like, probably one of the best Strange New Worlds episodes, and it's up there in the Star Trek canon of episodes, where that was a really good episode.
Very good episode.
To then follow that up with a story that it felt like,
I think objectively that's the best episode. Like, my favorite's always going to be the musical episode, but I think that is the best episode of it, and to follow it up with that finale. That being said, like, I feel like if I had to pick a main character on the show, it is Christopher Pike.
Right.
So he usually starts the season and ends it. And I will say this. I was saying, like, I don't want to have a finale that's going to sizzle me and then start me off with a bummer of a premiere. So they were like, they did do that for me, because we can start off the premiere for season 4 and we didn't have a sizzler moment. Like, it can pick up, obviously what happened with Battelle, who didn't die, by the way. Who was it? Tiny Tim.
Who didn't die.
Battelle, who didn't die, but now, like, this statue lady repelling evil of the world. I'm not really sure what's going on.
I have some criticism. Purpose. The way that all went down, I felt like was a little odd, like writers were like, let's just
How do we write her off without killing her off? What are we going to do? Because canonically, that is not who he ends up with.
Correct.
I did think it was very interesting. They made it a point to tell us several times in that episode about how time can work differently. Yeah. Like, the constructs of time, because there is this part where she makes it out, like, she's able to, like, save the world from it. The whole thing with the guy that lost his eye, like, the evil people, that all came back. Yeah. And so there's this, like, scenario where she was able to defeat that, and they were able to get married, live together, have children, and we basically go through all their lives, and he's still rocking some great fine hair when he's clearly like, elderly, and then she passes away, and then suddenly it's like almost like she gave him that, like, vision, like, this is what it could have been. But to him, you could tell, like, when they snapped in back, like, to the normal timeline we're on, that it felt like he had lived all that time. Yeah. So I think that the best way to start the new season would be to have a healthy time jump, because I'm sorry, I don't want to see depressed Pike the whole time. I think he's one of the best leaders in Star Trek. Like, we always talk about which captain's the best, and I think they all have their own, like, unique skill set. I think for me, I would want to work for somebody like him the most, because he, like, his, like, teaching style, his leadership style actually speaks to me even more than the great Kirk and Picard. He's just so, like, level-headed and calm, but also understands emotions. Like, and I was impressed because we meet Pike in the Kelvin universe, right? Yes. I liked Pike in the Kelvin universe too. So I think, like, he's a really good captain and a good leader, and I don't want to see just him be mopey. And I feel like that scene at the end where they're all like, we're there for you. I think that was a good moment, and he's going to be okay, but I would like to see a time jump moving forward, and hopefully, I think one of my biggest criticisms of Strange New Worlds is that the premieres always seem like a dud to me, and then we get into really good episodes, and maybe we can avoid all that. I definitely agree with you. It absolutely felt like they tried to tie up loose ends. They even had that line, like, well, we've got 5 years to explore, which is the part, like, with 5 years, so we know we're getting the 5 seasons. Back to the stone you mentioned. So Mr. Paul Wesley,
let that go.
Who plays Captain Kirk on Strange New Worlds, is also probably most known, I'm going to say, as Stefan Salvatore on a show I call The Vampire Diaries, or we all call The Vampire Diaries.
I say, do other people call it something else?
No. And, well, it's Stefussy. But it's like
we're not going there. We're not going
there. Anyway, one of the best scenes in The Vampire Diaries is where Damon, I'm not going to get into how he gets there, but there's a thing called the prison world. Damon's trapped. Stefan thinks Damon's dead, like dead. I know they're vampires. It's a thing. But he thinks he's never going to see Damon again. So we've got Stefan in their family crypt, like basically being like, I'm so lost without you, brother. I miss you so much. And he throws the bottle of bourbon, and Damon catches it, and he's like, Damon? How am I seeing you right now? And he's like, it's me. And they hug. Because, like, ultimately, while we always had the love triangle, the heart of the show was the love that the Salvatore brothers, Stefan and Damon, had for each other. And I don't know what the name of the song is, but every time I hear that song, I think of that scene. So suddenly, I'm on Star Trek, and I'm like, oh my gosh, they're playing the song. And then I'm like, did Paul Wesley be like, use this song? Because now I've seen, and I've cried twice over Paul Wesley with this song. I wish I knew what the name of the song was.
Only there were a way to find out.
The song is called Wait by M83, but it's very good.
Oh, I know M83. Okay. I have a lot of stuff of theirs on my Spotify lists.
Well, they picked a banger of a song, and now I've had to cry to Paul Wesley to this song twice. And it's kind of like, obviously, Una's there for Pike with the drink. And then, of course, we get, like you said, the Spock-Kirk scene. Because they had to do the Vulcan mind meld.
They had to do a mind meld to coordinate the ships and be perfect. And it was a whole thing just to get Kirk and Spock closer together.
And he was like, be gentle. And I'm like, ah! And then they, like, stared into each other's eyes. And they clearly, I think, both know that both of them, like, have a thing with Lon, which is a whole other thing. I'm like, I've never really rooted for a throuple in a show. But I'm like, I'd be down.
Well, you finally said to me the thing in this episode
that's the ship.
That's the ship. Kirk and Spock is the ship. Yes.
My wishes going forward, I've got to meet McCoy at some point. They must cast him.
I can't imagine that we've got season 4 is confirmed and season 5 will be shortened, but we'll get 6 episodes in season 5. I cannot imagine that we go through all that without getting McCoy.
If you could think of any actor out of thin air, who would you cast for McCoy?
I hate doing that.
I wouldn't know. That?
Yeah, because I never would have come up with Paul Wesley for Kirk, and he's doing a great job. So I'm just going to let the casting directors of this show do their thing because I love the cast. Everybody in this show is great, and they've always done a great job with getting people in.
The only thing we don't like are the wigs that they make.
Sure, but that's costuming. So I'm just going to let the casting directors do their thing and go with it.
All right. Well, it might have been a flat finale, but an overall great season.
Yep.
So moving on, we have The Summer I Turned Pretty Season 3. I'm talking to you guys about episode 10. We have the finale, which will be the series finale, coming this Wednesday. And these last few episodes have been so good. This one was, I keep saying, like, this was my favorite. I think this might be my favorite. We had our full-blown actual Belly in Paris arc. She is now in Paris. She is working. She's found a job. She's found some roommates. And at first, you see that she's struggling to adapt. She's still struggling with the language. Her roommates, like, take her coffee. Like, they don't save her any. She's trying to, like, connect with them. But we basically have a year pass by of time. And she gets more and more comfortable, really is finding herself there. And it's everything I wanted to see for this character because I feel like she's been so stunted and she needed to go away. Like everybody that's like, oh, I want her with Conrad right away. No, this needed to happen. She needed to get away from even her mom, even the Fisher brothers, to really go find herself because a lot of people find themselves in college and she didn't really do that because she was stuck in a codependent relationship with Jeremiah. And you find that, he's still not really speaking to her. But that changes later on in the episode. Steven and Taylor are solid. They're moving in together. They're having Friendsgiving together, Thanksgiving. I'm so happy with them. I really hope that Jenny's not going to pull a fast one on me and break them up. I think they're in a really good place. And suddenly, I think I like Jeremiah when he's not with Belly and when he's not bothering me. Like, so we have Jeremiah starting off the episode as usual, being annoying, but I'm like, okay, whatever. He's sad, but he's just being a classic man-child. Well, Adam, his dad, is like, he cuts him off. So Jeremiah is forced to go get a job. He's working in a restaurant because he's always expressed interest in cooking, like his crash out about the cake. Belly, the cacao is part of the bean or whatever he says, where he's like, this is the one thing I wanted. We all made fun of like how much he wanted this like certain cake scene. If you know, you know. So he has expressed interest in cooking. So right now he might be working in the kitchen, cutting onions and doing stuff, but he's not relying on daddy's money. He was couch surfing and was staying at Steven's apartment, but now he's staying with Denise's apartment, who works with Steven. They're going to go do their own little startup. They finally quit Adam's company because they were all working there together. And there was some things that said Denise and Jeremiah could possibly have a thing, and I was like, yeah, right, I don't see it at all. Because I thought Denise was really going to be the foil to Steven and Taylor, and we thought she was, but then it turned out to be a big fat nothing burger. And can I just say, like, the 5-minute scene of Jeremiah and Denise was more meaningful than any conversation I've ever seen Jeremiah and Belly have. So the jellyfish people, if you want Jeremiah to be happy, I think this is the way to go. Like, I can't believe that Jenny, because the whole time I'm like, well, if Jeremiah is going to end up with somebody, how's it even going to, like, be believable, right? Like, with so little time. I'm telling you, that, like, 5-minute conversation with them sold. Put me on the ship. And I don't know what it is with men and slutty glasses, because suddenly I'm like, Jeremiah's hot? Where did this come from in his depressive sweatpants and slutty glasses?
Pause.
I don't know.
I gotta ask. What makes...
Are you pausing the show or pausing?
Pausing you.
Okay.
Pausing your mouth for a second.
Okay.
What define slutty little glasses on a guy for me? Like, what is that? I need to know. I need to understand, because you also said that about Jonathan Bailey and his glasses that he had for the Jurassic Park movie.
It's a thing. It's just you either got it or you don't.
Okay.
You have sassy glasses.
Oh, okay, not slutty, sassy.
Glasses.
Okay,
There's a difference. I do like you with glasses, though.
Oh, you're blurry. I'm not wearing my glasses. No wonder. I was like, where are they? Oh, they're right there. I'm still struggling. I made it to 40 years without
and you
glasses.
Still have like the smallest prescription I've ever seen. Your glasses feel like the test model. Anyway, slutty glasses and Jeremiah, 2 thumbs up. I actually, even if he and Denise aren't in game, that was a really great scene. But I think the chemistry is there, and if that ends up being a thing, I'd buy it. We finally got Jeremiah and Conrad. All I've really wanted to is I wanted the brothers to make some type of peace, and they do. They meet at Susanna's grave, by accident, of course, but it was the anniversary of her death, so of course they were both there, and they hashed it out. Like, I feel like one of my and the biggest annoyances of Conrad is he's been letting everybody steamroll him. And he said, you know what, Jeremiah, you started dating her like 2 seconds after we broke up. How do you think that made me feel? And like, she's not a prize. Because I think a lot of the reasons why the codependency that Jeremiah and Belly had together, I think some of it was Conrad is the preferred brother. He seems to be the one that's good at everything. And I think for Jeremiah, it was a competition. And that was pointed out, and they had a really good conversation. I don't think they're going to be, perfect at any time yet, but it was nice to see the boys hug. It was nice they both were like, wow, like talking about their mom's last wishes, and they were like, well, we both really screwed up that, haven't we? And I think they're going to be okay. And then Jeremiah even said, I'm not going to be happy about it. But if you really are still into Belly, because he's like, I always knew there was a force field between you guys. He's like, you better do something before it's not too late. So Conrad has to go to Brussels for work. He is, living his best doctor life now. We've had this time jump, and he says, I don't care how much it costs, and he books the ticket, and he's going to go to Paris. Also, we have the scene of Belly getting a haircut, which there was a scene earlier in the season where Jeremiah's like, never cut your hair. And I was like, oh, she's going to cut her hair at the end. Now, Belly did finally hook up with a man whose last name isn't Fisher, Benito. That happened in the books as a thing. It was just a fling. I actually like Benito. Clearly, I don't think they're going to be endgame by any chance, but it was nice to see Belly having fun. It was nice to see Taylor visiting Belly. And I don't know what's going to go down with this Paris meeting, but I'm excited for it. I can't wait. My predictions for the finale, they say it's going to end a little different than the books. If I had to guess, this is what I think is going to go down. I think that Conrad's going to meet her there. She's going to be happy to see them. And I think they might even kiss. But I think Belly might be like, I want to stay in Paris. I don't feel like I'm ready to come home yet. I feel like there's more, to explore. And then I think we're going to have another time jump, and they're going to be back in Cousins Beach. And I think that enough time will have passed. Maybe they'll be there for some event. I don't know. And I think that they will officially be together then. I do not think we're going to get the wedding like we got in the book, but I think we're going to get some more. Now, there's some theories that we're going to get some bonus episodes, because Jenny Han likes to be like Taylor Swift, like the Easter eggs. I don't think we're going to be that lucky. But I do hope that most of this episode we are going to get some Belly Conrad scenes, because one of my biggest frustrations with the show is I feel like we barely ever got to see them together. That was one of my biggest frustrations with the book, and I need it to be more than just like, 2 seconds at the end, here we are together. So that's what I think is going to happen. I think they are going to have some romantic fun in Paris. I think they're going to part ways, and then I think they're going to come together at the end, and then I think you might see Jeremiah off with Denise. And it might be a hint that they're together. I don't know. Maybe I'll get really lucky and they'll be coming together for Steven and Taylor's wedding. I don't know. I think we're going to have a couple time jumps. But I'm excited for the summer I turned pretty.
Well, mark it down, everybody. It's on the record. If she is wrong next week, everybody let her know about it.
Now, if I don't get a Bond rat in game, though, we riot at dawn, baby.
Alrighty, let's see. Well, that's all the shows that we've been watching this week. We got a couple things we're looking forward to coming up here. So, as Hope mentioned earlier in the episode, the day this, not the day this is recording, but the day that this is airing, Dancing with the Stars will be back. Season 34. I feel
like it's always been on Mondays. Was it on
Tuesday
Tuesday
it has
last
always
year?
been on Mondays. Maybe there's something going on today that is keeping them from it. I don't know.
Well, it says it's going to be on Tuesday the rest of the season because I looked that up to make sure. Because
Okay.
like sometimes if Monday Night Football they don't want to conflict. I don't know. I'm going to go through the cast list really quickly. We've got Jen Affleck, not related to Ben Affleck, but she just did a commercial for Dunkin' Donuts with Ben Affleck, which I think was great. That is one of our Secret Lives of Mormon Wives. In season 1, they claimed they were related to Ben Affleck. Season 2, it was like, never mind, no, we're not. And it's a whole thing. If you know, you know. She is partnered with Jan. He is the new pro. He is one of Taylor Swift's former dancers. So I think she's going to be pulling in the Swiftie vote. We have Hilaria, is that her name? Baldwin, Alec Baldwin's wife, paired with Gleb. She's one of the only ones that has ballroom dance experience, but I don't know if she's going to have the fan vote. What do you think?
Considering I've never heard of her before, no.
You know how Alec Baldwin is. We have Jordan Childs, Olympic gymnast, Olympic gold medalist, who is paired with Ezra Sosa. I love Ezra. Ezra's finally getting him a good partner. Baron Davis, that is an NBA point guard. I do not know this man. He is partnered with Britt Stewart.
I've heard the name. But I'm not. I couldn't.
Like
I can't picture him.
I'm surprised they gave her an older person again. I think he's older. You watch him be like 40. We have Alex Earl. She is a social media personality. You probably haven't heard of her. I hadn't really heard of her, but I'm telling you right now, she's like Charlie D'Amelio level famous from TikTok. All the Gen Z knows who she is. She's paired with Val. I also think she has dance experience.
Not to just stretch this out, but I just have to make an observation. It is so odd to me. Every time Charlie. And now this person, and you're like, they're TikTok famous. They're huge on TikTok. I am on TikTok all the time.
They're probably not coming up in your algorithm.
Ever.
Your algorithm is like mental illness and like dog videos. So I don't know. They're probably not coming up in there. Like,
hey, some Star Trek shows up every now and then
I've been getting Star Trek edits.
Excellent.
Too. Thank you for that, by the way.
Sorry. Get back to it. Sorry.
All right. And like Gen Z, that's what they watch. They don't watch like normal TV. Dylan Efron, Zac Efron's brother, reality television personality from Daniel's favorite Emmy award-winning, by the way, show Traitors, partnered with Daniela. If he can move like his brother, Danny will be a good partner for him. Corey Feldman, known from The Goonies, a movie that neither of us have seen.
He was also Donatello's voice in the original Ninja Turtles movie.
And in the movie, I bet they danced to Stand By Me if he makes it, because he's also in Stand By Me.
I don't think he's going to make it.
He's paired with last year's winner, Jenna Johnson, so they're like, we're not giving you someone who can win. Danielle Fishel from Boy Meets World, Miss Topanga Lawrence, is paired with Pasha. I think she could be pretty good. I did not care for somebody being like, well, she's an old contestant. I was like, excuse me, that's Topanga. Put some respect on Topanga, baby.
I can't speak for her dancing ability, but she certainly will have a voting group of people. Like, when I get to the point of the season where I start putting votes in, I could see myself voting for her if she's still around.
I thought you were going to say she's got people because she's Topanga, baby.
Well, that too. I mean, that's what I'm saying.
Get Sean Hunter on there. Right or strong. Go do Dancing with the Stars next. I was never a Corey gal. I like Sean Hunter. You know me. It's my type. We have Elaine Hendricks, partnered with Alan. Elaine Hendricks is best known for the evil Cruella step monster to be from the Lindsay Lohan version of The Parent Trap.
Yes.
And I think she's going to be awesome. We have Scott Hoying from the band Pentatonics, paired with Riley Arnold. After watching their TikToks, now he's pretty tall. Sometimes the really tall guys struggle, but that man can move. I would be on the lookout for those. And Riley already has like her own fan following. She basically changed the Dancing with the Stars game by being like with all her TikToks and has made everybody else do TikToks. I think they could get a lot of votes.
I know Pentatonics does.
I think they're going to be a finalist.
I know Pentatonics does more than just Christmas music, but all I ever think about with them is Christmas music and hacks.
You know what I thought about when speaking of Christmas and going back to my Backyard Brawl conversation? Me during the game was that meme or that was like, how dare we say Merry Christmas? And me after the game was, Merry Christmas, everyone. All right, we have Daniel's projected winner who you said last week, because I feel like he's the only one that you remember that was cast.
It was a very scientific pick. I'm very confident.
Robert Irwin partnered with Whitney Carson. Robert Irwin, hot, makes me feel like a cougar. But Whitney, great pro to be partnered with. I think that I'm glad they did not partner him with Riley. I bet now that she has a boyfriend, we don't need to have her shipped with somebody.
By the way,
I'm tired of the shipping with Riley and her partners. It's
my
annoying.
pick is scientific. Whitney's a great.
Bendy Irwin, his sister won.
His sister won. He's going to get the ladies' vote.
Yeah.
And the guys.
Yeah.
Now he could come out this first episode and just not be wearing cement shoes. Yeah, I don't know.
Dance?
So
we'll see. We have Lauren something. I don't know how to say her last name, but she is from Fifth Harmony. She is partnered with Brandon. I'm sure she'll be able to dance. I feel like at this point, everybody but like 2 people from Fifth Harmony have been on the show. I know Camilla's not technically in the band Fifth Harmony anymore, but she hasn't been on there, and I don't think Dinah's been on there. But well, all the run, they usually do pretty good, so we'll see. Then we have my pick, who I think's going to win, is Whitney Levitt from The Secret Lives of Mormon Wives, partnered with one Mark Ballas. So Whitney can move. She has some dance experience like Alex Earl, so I think she's going to be able to pick up choreography, because if you have a dance, it doesn't have to be ballroom, but if you like know how to pick up choreography, that gives you a little bit of an edge. But
having Mark as it just feels like an advantage no matter who you are, because he's just so good.
I think
that would be like if Derek stepped out and was somebody's pro.
I'm really excited to see Mark. He always is. And they're dancing, by the way, to Golden from K-pop Demon Hunters.
Oh, they're gonna get that vote.
I'm excited. And then we have Andy Richter and Emma Slater. I don't know what Emma did to keep getting the old people, but I think that Emma's must be a great teacher. And, you know, I think that people are underestimating Andy. He might not be able to move well, but he's funny. They're a tribe of asparagus children.
But they're self-conscious about how their pee smells.
So that is our cast. And I know some of you guys say you tune out for Dancing with the Stars talk, and others of you guys say that you like it when we talk about it. I'm sure we'll give our predictions going forward after the premiere episode, which will probably be a ridiculous runtime. But yeah, I'm sticking with my prediction from last week, and you are too.
We're not allowed to change. It's locked in.
Yeah, I'm going with Whitney. Well, I might change.
Oh, no.
Rocky Balboa said everybody can change.
We're locked into our picks. It's an elimination. We're locked into our picks until our pick is eliminated, and then we can choose.
Right, well,
we can pick different.
Can we eliminate this podcast because I have to pee?
Okay, well, I think that was too much information for everybody, including me. But thank you, everybody, for tuning in, and we will see you next time.